Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
We are live according to Restream.
Excellent. Thanks,
Can't wait to
Reese.
see it on a computer screen. Waiting for LinkedIn to catch up. How are you
Ah,
doing today, Miss Honorée?
I'm good. I'm good. I did shoulders this morning. So
Mm,
so I can't lift anything.
at all.
Because I lifted things, I can't lift anything. So I'm not really sure how to make sense of that exactly, but
Yeah, it's hard to know whether you should feel good about that or not, right?
yes. Yes. Hey, Ion Energy. I know who you are. Are you feeling better today? Do you know who that is, Lucas?
Is that Renee?
It is Renee.
Yes. Hello, Renee.
And she might have partied like a rock star this past weekend. So, she's been a little under the weather.
Is it okay if I ask why she was partying?
No. Oh, no, she's not feeling better. Aw. No, she wasn't really partying. Um, she was partying for Renee, I think. Staying up past her bedtime. That's what I call partying. Like, boy, stayed out. The sun went down.
Hey, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine. And Renee, everyone needs a good story when something happens, even if it's not like 100% true, right? So,
Right. No good
yeah.
story starts with I ate a salad and went to bed early. Not
Yeah.
even one.
Yeah. I was oh, here we go. Here we got Helen now too. Hello, Helen. Hello, Helen.
Hi, Helen.
Can I give Helen a quick plug before we
Of
jump in?
course. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Mm. Helen, I caught your live. I think it was yesterday. Um, it was great. So for people that aren't following Helen Bullen, I think the live stream I saw was on Facebook. Super motivational, super informative, just like the wisdom just poureth forward,
Yep.
right? So
Yep. Yep. Also, she is hilarious.
yeah,
Hilarious.
she
Like
really is.
truly cracks me up human. Also, I wasn't able to listen to the live, but I saw it as I was doing something,
Hmm.
and and the hair just continues to grow. Like it's
Yeah.
the evolution of hair, which I totally uh can just I feel you on that, Helen.
So I met Helen before she had hair. So when I saw the pictures of her previously with hair, I was like, oh, okay. And so now that it's coming in, I feel like, you know, I'm watching someone in reverse. It's
Yeah,
kind of like,
yeah, yeah,
there we go.
yeah.
All
Okay,
right.
good.
So Helen just dropped her Facebook link. Yes, it is time.
Her
You know
hair is
what?
out of control. I think her hair is a metaphor for Helen. I
I was
think
going to
her
say,
hair and Helen are very similar
you could
in a
just
good
call
way.
it British punk rock at this point,
That's
Helen. Just
right. That's right.
my hair is punk rock. Just call it that.
Yes. Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So if you
Good
guys aren't
morning,
following Helen,
Charlie. Oh,
okay.
sorry. Go
Oh,
on.
I was going to say, so if you guys aren't following Helen, check out, there's her Facebook link at the bottom of the screen. I'm going to try and enter that information into LinkedIn, but she's also on LinkedIn as Helen Bullen. So check her out. That's
Yeah.
one L in Helen, two L's in Bullen. There you go, Helen.
Yes.
All right. Pops, good morning. I think that's what Honorée was trying to do before I got all crazy.
Yes. Well,
Yes.
I called him Charlie on purpose because I have been instructed to do such. Even though,
Mm.
you know.
So, so we talked about monetizing books with courses
Yes,
last week,
we did.
and
Yes,
we had a couple of questions that we weren't able to get to because time's so short. Um, but I figured we could bounce a couple of them around today just to kind of
yeah.
resolve those for people. And the first one I thought was really, I don't know why this didn't occur to me earlier in the process of working with people that are building courses around their books, but it's a pretty common question now. I hear it all the time. Like, why should I build a course if I already have a book Like, do they serve different audiences? How does a course serve your audience differently than your book?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you hear that often?
Sure. Yes. I think people think that courses are harder than books.
Yep.
Not true.
Nope.
I think they think courses take longer to produce than books. Also not true.
Nope.
I think there are a lot of myths around it. I also think people will say either I don't need a book or I don't need a course.
Mm-hmm.
Also not true. You need both of them for different reasons. So yeah, I think we're right on the same wavelength.
Oh, we got a good evening, and it's from a LinkedIn user with sunglasses. I'm going to say that's Wayne.
Hey, Wayne. Is that Wayne?
I think it's Wayne. I'm going to check the LinkedIn feed here.
Put $20 on 8 and call it Wayne.
It is Wayne. Okay, now I can see it. Awesome. Hello, Wayne. Good evening in Egypt.
I hope we had a good day.
That's right. Yeah, I agree with you 100%, which I don't even know why I say that at this point. I always agree with what you say on these things because you and I have already discussed them so much. It's like we're on the same wavelength. Right. But
yeah.
You know, the book process definitely takes longer. It's definitely more
painful.
It also requires
time consuming.
What's that?
I said painful. I mean time consuming.
Yeah. Now, it's worth it. I'm not saying it's not worth it. It is absolutely worth it.
Nope, totally worth it.
I haven't done anything with my book yet, and it was worth it. So like, take that for what it is, right?
Yeah.
And
it's coming soon, isn't it?
Yeah, Monday. Monday.
Yeah.
It's like the monster truck rallies.
That's right. That's right. Very exciting.
Yes.
T-minus 5 days. T-minus 5 days and counting.
That's
or
it.
as they say in the military, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So 3 days and a wake up.
That is correct.
When was the last time you heard that?
That's right. 3 days and a wake up, baby. If one of us was in our last patrol on a ship, we'd have a chain, and we'd have a link for 1 day of the week.
Should we make a book chain? And what do? We take the chain off and we throw it away.
You take a link off every day.
Okay, and a link, but it's a real chain.
Yeah, we used to use these.
Oh, okay, so we can't light it on fire.
Well, I mean, you can light anything on fire.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
Yeah, no, we can definitely have fun lighting things on fire.
Right.
But yeah, it used to be a point of like people would try and get it from you because you could use the chain to get out of work and get out of meetings and get out of things. So you'd be like, oh, I've only got like 5 days and a wake up, and everyone would be like, and so they'd be trying to steal it from you and all this stuff. I don't even know if they do this stuff anymore. It's kind of old school, but whatever. It was fun. So yeah, I need a short timers chain for the book because today's the 23rd. The book comes out on the 27th of February, which is Monday the 27th.
So soon.
Yeah. And it would not be happening on Monday the 27th if not for Honorée Quarter. I'm going to tell you that right now. She has been
just
fantastic.
I didn't do nothing.
It's hard to sail somewhere without good directions, without a good track line, without your courses, your book, your mentorship. All of it has got me to that point. So eternally grateful.
I'm very excited for you to have a book and to be an author. Somebody was asking me like, what is my favorite part? And I was like, all of it. All of it's my favorite part. But if I had to pick one, it's the very first time someone holds their own book in their hands. Like the very first time, like all of that, because it's not like washing your car. I bought a car from a CEO one time, CEO of a Fortune 500 company, and he made me promise that I was going to hand wash it. I lied. I was like, yeah, sure, buddy. I'm going to get out there and hand wash the car. But he would detail his car on the weekends with the Q-tips and like all the, the little vacuum and all the stuff. And I was like, why do you do that? And he said, because in 2 hours I can do something.
Yep.
And all of my work is very long tail. And now I absolutely, English is my first language today. Resonate. There it is.
Yes.
I resonate with that because doing a book, even doing a course. So you can't get the book yet. It's in pre-release. So someone asked, where can I get the book? And the answer is on Monday, you'll be able to get it on Amazon. So we have an advanced reader team, and that's how some of them have advanced copies. So you'll want to wait until Monday and then look for it on Amazon. Right?
Yes. Yep. And so who is this LinkedIn user asking where they can get the book? Because if I know you, you probably will get some personal directions.
When you can get.
I've also got someone that said, really enjoying your book. So many great ways to build the course. Easy to follow. Can't wait to see it in printed book form. Awesome. Thank you so much. Again, if you guys are on Facebook, if you could just drop your name in the beginning or the end of your post or reply, that'd be awesome. So we know.
Otherwise, we just have to refer to you as random Facebook user, which sounds a little sketchy.
Yeah. And I can't have like all the platforms open at the same time.
Right.
So Pops, in response to our earlier question, had said a course fills in the blanks, provides answers to the questions that a book cannot cover, if that makes sense. Yeah, in some ways, that's absolutely one of the planned functions of a course, right? So if you've already filled your book with all the wonderfulness and you've shared it with the world, and after that, you have things that you want to dive further into, or maybe you've discovered since your publication or whatever the case may be, you can very easily implement those in a course. It's so much easier and faster to make a change in a course than it is in a book. So it's a.
What do you mean? What do you mean, Lucas? What are you talking about?
Yeah. So you kind of have to be your own quality assurance team with the course, though. So you really need to make sure you take the time to step back and go, okay, like I use Pro Writing Aid. People use Grammarly. There's all these different like editorial softwares you can use to make sure that when you're creating content on web browsers, Word documents, wherever you're typing words, that you've got some type of editing functionality there. That's my minimum standard, is to use some type of digital editing tool to make sure that your text content is at least scanned by one of those systems before you go live. And then it's up to you to create it, right? And then you can like literally turn it on. So it's really fast. Whereas with the book, as Honorée is not in any way, shape, or form alluding to, is actually directly responding to, is that, you have to like update these very controlled files.
Well, it's not. So a book that's done well is done with a graphic design team. So I'm listening to the audio version of You Must Market Your Book, and I have my updates and the audio engineer updates for the audio files. I have two different flag colors that I'm using. One for mistakes I found in a book that we've been through, 11 billion times. And then also the narrator, there's always just little mistakes in the production. So I'll send those back. So I have to send the corrections to the graphic designer, who has to make the corrections, output the files, and send them to me. And so it's much more simple in a learning management system like Thinkific to just go in and make a correction and then save it. Right. It's instant, as opposed to it could be up to a week before your graphic designer, a week or 2 weeks, depending on their schedule, how fast they can turn it around. Right. And if you're family or like family with your graphic designer, then it could take 3 or 4 weeks. No, I'm just kidding. You would think it would be faster, but maybe not. No, honestly, like Dino does such a great job, and I have zero complaints at all about anything ever.
Now, very high quality, obviously, very professional. We had absolutely like no issues getting files into Amazon and accepted. And I mean, he just nails everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, he was fast on the turnaround for the book. So I was kind of surprised by how quickly he turned some things around. I was shocked.
Yeah, he's a rare person in that he can be crazy creative which is usually one set of skills.
Yep.
Like being a creative entrepreneur, right? It's like you've got to have your creative side and then you have to have your business side. But he combines creativity with quickness, which is not to be underestimated. But if I may, John Stongi released a book.
Yes, please. I just got it last night.
I was waiting for Lucas's book. I started reading it very, very quickly. I want to make sure I get the title right. So let me pull it up.
I'm doing the same.
And I like that you both have used Monetize in your book titles. So John Stongi, Stange, wrote a book, and it is Build, Grow, and Monetize Your Online Platform. He's the founder of Platform Launchers. And as I'm looking through these chapter titles, I just love that, you know, he's got it such a beautiful way of writing. It's not showing me the chapter titles, only in my Kindle, not in my phone.
Yeah, I'm trying to show people a little screenshot here. I'll put the information in the notes as well. But
yeah. So I want to make sure we get to all your questions.
Can I brag about John for a second while you're looking there?
Absolutely. And then if you want, we can circle back about my Facebook post of last night. Someone asking me if I'd ever thought about writing a book. I got a response.
Oh, you did get a response. Yes. So John Stongi helps people launch digital platforms, like online platforms. John is also he's a tenured minister, right? Preacher. He's been doing what he's doing for a long time. He has built a fantastically successful career podcasting. I think this last week he hit 10 million downloads on his podcast.
10 million downloads. That's a big number.
Yes. And for a guy walking around with 10 million of anything happening in your life, he is extremely humble and kind and even-keeled and professional. So, and he's got he's got the God's gift of radio voice.
I was just about to say, don't forget the radio voice.
It's great.
Yes. Don't forget the radio voice. Yes.
So check out John Stongi's book. And Honorée, did you have something in the book you were looking up that you wanted to share? Or?
I was trying to, I have my Kindle. So I always have reading devices nearby.
Yep.
And in my phone, it doesn't allow me to see the chapter titles. But I really like how he's taking the aspect of building a platform and talking. So let me see if I can quickly get to the chapter titles.
So John owns a platform called Platform Launchers. And so if you're interested in looking into him, you can search Platform Launchers. His name's John Stongi, Stange.
Yeah. All right.
And just a great guy. I'm a member of the Platform Launchers community. And he's part of the Empire Builders Mastermind. So
yes, he is. So we get to hang
John.
out with him, which is awesome. So he has 44 chapters in this book. And the chapters are brief, meaty, and to the point. And it's like chapter 1 is the first step is to start. So he's just talking about don't overthink it, ink it, right? Just get in there and do it. Your online platform can replace your current income. That's chapter 3. Chapter 6 is what problem are you qualified to solve? You uniquely qualified to solve. Get over your fear of selling. It's chapter 9. 10 simple ways to repurpose what you've written and recorded, chapter 10. So he's just kind of coming at it. And then he starts to talk about podcasting, coaching, affiliate programs, developing a media kit, creating online courses. So I don't know for sure, but I'm going to bet you might have a mention in there. Podcast interviewing, membership committees, communities, online communities, identifying your ideal client, newsletters. I'm only in chapter 20, so we won't do this all day. But the cool thing about this is he's giving this book away right now. It's in Kindle Unlimited. So it's either free if you're not in Kindle Unlimited, or you can read it in Kindle Unlimited and he can get paid on the page reads, or both, which I think is just fantastic. And so huge shout out to John for just writing and publishing that book. And he's a very prolific writer as well. So we want to circle back to building.
Yeah. So So I just want to make one more point about the courses and the books serving people in different ways. Some people are very visual learners, or they're audio learners, right? They need to hear or see. That's why, some people prefer those methods of receiving information. Receiving information so that they can process it in a different way. And a course gives you the ability to do that in a very flexible way. And it gives you a lot of freedom to be creative with how you do that. For example, in video, everyone thinks that automatically the video is this, right? Like Cameo style video. And video could be just a filmed presentation. You don't even have to be in
voiceover, right? Voiceover.
It could be audio over a presentation.
Yeah.
It could also be animated, right? So we're making a series of animated videos for clients now. And that combines the benefits of a presentation where you have a lot of bulletized information, data related to numbers or things to memorize in lists or whatever, or lists of information to digest. So video is really powerful for kind of conveying that type of information, but in a way that most people sometimes assume video is like this, right? So if I have to relay a lot of that type of detailed information, the course is just so flexible with that. The other thing is the audio aspect of it. So much like an audio book, right? You have the opportunity to have either audio over video or simply audio with a text file or downloadables or an ebook of some sort that they can follow along with, or a downloadable workbook or Wobo worksheets or whatever. And Honorée, you've got a great audio course, the Prosperity for Writers course.
Yes.
Which by the numbers,
Go ahead.
That's our highest selling by numbers of enrollments course on the Empire Builders MasterClass website.
Yes, and it's one of my best-selling courses in terms of numbers, not in terms of dollars.
Yep.
Because it's not a high-price course, but the whole purpose is for people to get their mindset right. And so I created that course before I wrote the book. It's recorded conference calls. Yeah. So
I'm going to flip this just one way real quick and tell you about something I actually worked with a client this week on when it comes to the book serving someone differently than the course. So I have a client who wrote and published a book. He's now building a course that he's taught this course live over 30 times. So he's now trying to put it into an online format. This same client is really good with live audiences and feels inhibited recording video by himself. So in a way, he can communicate with people through recorded video in a way differently than even he can live or with his book. So we're actually filming segments of this with him teaching me live and me eliminating myself from the video so that he can capture his live presentation, behaviors and personality and elements.
Smart.
Yeah. So there's all these different things you can do. It's sometimes the benefit isn't necessarily to the learner. Sometimes it's to you, the presenter and the developer of the curriculum. So there's all different ways that works. And he would not have had that same experience with his book. He was very comfortable writing his book. So just saying. Now that leads me to the second question that someone brought up, which is they're often intimidated by the tech, right? So people are like, hey, I'm interested in a course, but is the technology just a barrier too great to overcome? And my answer is always, no, it's not too great to overcome.
Well, we're not going to listen to you, Lucas, because you're an engineer by training and you're a doctor. And so we're not people who are basic. I'm just saying. I hear myself. I have an echo, just so you know.
Do you really? Of yourself? You hear yourself?
Just a little bit. Yeah. Am I in your headphones, Lucas?
You're getting ready to go in the headphones.
I'm going in the headphones. I'm saying we can't listen to you with all due respect, and all respect meant that when someone is eminently qualified, we need to, as neophytes, as beginners, feel that we can do it too. That even as beginners, we have the ability to do it too. I didn't do a blended learning course for so long because that sounded ultra fancy and too complex for me. And I don't consider myself a stupid person. So it wasn't that I felt like I was unintelligent or I couldn't do it. It just felt too overwhelming, too many things. I'm already running really fast. How would I learn the platform? So when I was introduced to Thinkific, interestingly, at Jeff Goins' conference in 2018, so predating us meeting by several years, I met the Thinkific team and started looking at the Thinkific platform. And if you can operate Facebook, right? If you can operate your email system, then you can operate a learning management system like Thinkific. Now, there are lots and lots of things that are complex about it. It's kind of like when I go to the Apple store and I watch the smart Apple guy pull out his phone and he does all these complex things. And I'm like, I'm this many years old when I learned that I could, schedule an email for another time or whatever. Like, there are complex things you can do, and you can learn those in your Learn Thinkific course. But you can also just do the basics of uploading a file, bolding text, right? Uploading a video, and you can figure it out. It is not so complex that you cannot either figure it out or very quickly do a search and like find the resource for it. So I appreciate that you say it's super easy to do. It's not complex, blah, blah, blah. But that's your jam, right? Of course you're going to say that, because even when I get stuck and I can reach out to you, I watch you do something and I learn and I go, okay, well, that wasn't that hard. I just didn't know where exactly to go.
Right.
What exactly what button to push or what, thing I was trying to do. But then taking Learn Thinkific has allowed me to, like, I feel like instead of just having a basic car, it's like I got heat and air and a steering wheel. Like, I'm in more of a fancy vehicle. I've got seat warmers and I know how to turn them on and things like that, right? It's just a little bit different. Understanding the additional functionality that's available.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. The thing with the LMS learning management systems, the software that people can pick up to build courses. You may be familiar with some of these. If you're not familiar with Thinkific, you may be familiar with Blackboard, Canvas, Kajabi, Teachable, all of them. I could just keep going, right? But the big thing is you get what you pay for, usually with these platforms.
Yes.
Almost every last one of them offers you a free enrollment period, whether it be indefinite or time capped. And I encourage you to test the different platforms. I was on Indie, I was on Matrix, and I found Thinkific to be the most intuitive, easy to use, logical, capable, steady, all the things. And I said, yep,
all the time they're doing new things. They're like, you can accept payments and things like that. Now, just for a contrast, you didn't mention the one I started on, which is Gumroad.
Oh gosh, yeah. Yes.
Are you about to say bless your heart?
No. No, I don't want to.
But it's like that
public bless your heart.
But that was, to be fair, like that was one that somebody recommended to me. And a lot of times as creators, we just go, well, what are you using?
Sure.
Right.
Yep.
What are you using? I need something. What are you using? And then you use the thing that was recommended to you. So I don't even remember how. And I still made money. I still produced courses poorly compared to what I produce now. I still, but I mean, to be fair, a recorded conference call, come on.
Right. A little different than what you're doing now.
Right.
But you charged accordingly, which is good.
But I charged accordingly and it helped people. And it now is still I just transferred it over from Gumroad, and we have it on EBMC. That's the only place it can be purchased. And it's a reasonable price. However, when you know better, you do better. And so when you know better, you can go, okay, let me just try out a learning management system, not unlike an email system that will grow with you.
Right.
Because if I had been able to see the future, I would have chosen an LMS that was a little too big for my britches at the time, knowing that I would grow into it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that's great. I mean, just to be clear on Gumroad's great for starters, but when you're selling, like you're a professional and you have professional courses. And when I say professional, guys, I don't mean like,
Yeah.
Well, you do. Yeah. But I mean, when I say professional, I'm not saying you have to have like a filming crew. Honorée and I both, make our own courses in our own
Sit right here.
offices. Yeah. With
Sit
our
right
own
here.
equipment. Exactly. And you don't need to have this big fancy investment. You just need good software to carry the quality to your learners. And that's what a good LMS like Thinkific or other good CRMs like ConvertKit or Keep.
Yeah.
Those good tools, you invest in good tools, you can produce good work, and it creates a very professional experience for your learners. Did you have a question, Ari?
Oh, I have a comment. So this is like the version of like I'm raising my hand. Is to say that a lot of times people procrastinate by going, I don't have the right. I have to research. I remember listening to Tony Robbins once talking to a woman who was really overweight, and she said, okay, I'm going to go home from the conference and I'm going to research diets and I'm going to research exercises. And he goes, with all due respect, ma'am, all you need is someone behind you yelling, run.
Yeah.
You just need to get started. And so I think sometimes people use which tool should I use? Which microphone should I have? Which camera should I use? Where should I be sitting? Oh, I need to hire a big camera crew. I need this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, ultimately, you can cut through all of that. And I did that with Publishing PhD. I originally worked with a company and they said, you'll want to get a film crew to come in and just record you over 2 days' time to do that. And I live in a bit of the country. And so finding the right crew and that sort of thing in 2 days when I could record back to back and all of that. And they said, there's another way you can do it. And it's the way you recommend, which is to get a 4K camera, to get a great microphone, to make sure you have good lighting, sound quality and those sorts of things. But when you really come down to it, it's not a long list. It's not anything that won't take you an extra long time to put your ducks in a row. And with the whole topic of this is monetizing your book with a course, you already have the meat and potatoes of what's going to go in your course.
Right. Yep. Yeah. So the tech that Honorée just described, the 4K camera, the microphone, you can get all these things for under $200 each. Right. So in the book, my book on the chapters on recording video and audio, I give you a list of at least 3 options, but no more than 5 for each of those things so that you're not overwhelmed. I list 3 to 4 cameras. I list 2 to 3 to 4 microphones, even the software that you can use to record. And so the worst thing you can do is just like give yourself all the excuses not to test it, not to do it. You'd be shocked by, well, maybe you wouldn't be. You might be surprised by how many people contact me and say, I just need someone to tell me to hit record. Like they just need someone there to go, okay, did we get those 3 videos recorded? What's next? Here's the outline. Here's what we're doing. And the reason for that is they aren't confident enough on their own. Well, I'm telling you right now, you can do all of those things on your own. You don't need to have somebody, but you can have a very simple tool like a book or a course to help you along if that's what you need, is just a little bit of guidance. And those are relatively affordable options, cost-effective options.
I hear what you said.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. To help you get started, right? And give you a little bit of that confidence, because if you're not comfortable just getting started and you need a little bit of guidance, those are easy ways to do it. You don't have to spend a fortune on consultants or whatever. So I'll give you a quick list of a couple of things real quick. The camera, the Logitech Brio is a 4K camera
I'm using right now.
Yep. Logitech Brio. And depending on what type of software you use, you can either have, pretty decent recording with a Brio, or you can have bad recording with a Vio because the software can hurt it. Yeah. Yes. Did you want to say something?
No, finish your thought. And then I want to just.
Your hand was up. Sorry. And then on top of that, you could go up another level, and instead of spending $169 on a Brio, you could spend a couple of $100 on a nice video camcorder. Like the one I've got here, I think is like $500-$600 right now. The Panasonic HC V770, and then you can go up and get an even nicer one. But you could do all of this stuff in under $200 camera, and then with the microphone, a blue, a Yeti Blue. $169 on Amazon. It's USB capable. The lavalier mic you use, the Samsung Go Mobile, $160, I think. They're almost all like $169.
It's a great price point, and it's not cost prohibitive. I think that's what you were looking
Yes. Thank you.
For English. It's fine.
So
It's fine.
I'm sorry. What were your?
Oh, I was just going to say that it's like when you're watching, when it comes to people overthinking their videos and being on video, I think a lot of times what I hear is like, well, what do I have to say? Or I'm really not comfortable on camera or anything, things like that. And people want you to win. They want you to be good.
Mm-hmm.
If they're buying your course, they're coming to you because you're an expert about something, just like they're buying your book, and they want it to be good. They don't want to be disappointed by your course. They want to say, which is what I want to hear, this was worth the money. I talked to someone yesterday who bought Build a Six-Figure Mastermind course, and he said it was well worth the money. I learned a lot, and I was great, perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. Is I wanted someone who bought the course and is better for it, for buying it. Like, I'm taking away their pain and suffering, and I'm giving them a process that they can lean into. And so if you're worried about being on camera, it's like the person watching isn't as fussy about your hair or what you're wearing or anything like that. They want what you talk about in your book, which is they want quality sound, they want quality information.
Yeah.
They want news they can use, and that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. And so if you're concerned about any of that, if you have any hesitancy or reticence around being on camera, just know that the people who are watching you want you to be good. They don't necessarily want you to look good. They want you to be good, and they want you to solve their problem.
If it was about looking good, I wouldn't have a job right now.
Okay.
Out on the streets, Marino.
Out on the street. You're done. We're going to give you a new chain, and it's unlimited in length. So anyway, I just wanted to say that because you're coming from the expert side. I'm coming from I have some experience side, but I've been through that. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know what, how do I handle this? How do I, do this? How do I do that? What do I use? How long is it going to take? What are the things to think about? And all of that is not as hard as you think. It's not unlike writing a book. It's like, once you know the process and you know who you need to help you, it's actually more simple and more easy than you think it is. Now, it is not simple or easy, but you can make it faster and less painful.
Yeah. And I was there. I remember trying to figure out what the heck camera to use. I went to Pops and said, "Hey, I'm having an issue with my camera." He's really big into photography, for those people that don't know. And he said, "Oh yeah, that's because the Brio that you're using has a hard time with light sensors and certain light." And I said, "Oh, okay. Wow, I didn't know that." And then it made perfect sense. I went, "Of course, that's the problem. I'm over here battling lighting, right?" So, and then he was like, "Well, let me show you a couple of options," and eyes wide open, right? Because I was getting ready to drop a couple grand on like a really fancy camera, and he's like, "I don't know that you actually have to go that far just yet." The learning management systems, every time I've had a new one, it's been a brand new learning curve. You just get better with it through time. I guess that's like the last parting shot is like with this particular topic, and then we're going to talk about pre-development launches. But you just have to give yourself time. You have to practice. There's no substitute for it. You have to create stuff to get good at creating things. If you never hit record, you're never going to get good at recording. So you have to just go through the paces. The cool part is you don't actually have to share with anybody. You could make a whole bunch of files that are just yours that you play around with, change your lighting, change your scenery, like remove the stress and just like embrace the fact that you can have a little bit of fun with it and that you can be creative. And when you're done with it, you're going to be really proud because you worked through that. So
yes, well said. Well said.
All right. So everyone else in the world that's not like, I already got my book built and I'm going to build this course. Normally they at some point they come to me and they're like, "Hey, I'm committed to this. I'm just not sure if everyone's committed to buying it. Like, can I actually sell this?" Mm-hmm. Part of the confidence problem isn't whether the course will be built right or whether it'll be good enough. Sometimes the confidence is, will anyone actually buy this? And I've got a couple of thoughts on this. Honorée, I know you do as well, because you and I've shared these. Right. I say go for it. But if you're tentative to develop it because you haven't experienced book sales and you don't have people paying you for that consulting or paying you for those books now, if you've never sold anything related to the topic, then definitely consider a pre-development launch or a beta pre-sale, like a partially developed course. I'll talk a little bit about that. Yeah. But Honorée and I do this still to this day. Even though we have topics that we know are going to roll out, we still roll them out on a beta. Sometimes I do it pre-development. Sometimes I go full development first. It all depends on my availability for time. So the little bit of note there is that you'll get good at assessing this with your own clients as you get more experienced with your clients and what they're willing to invest in with you. But if you're selling consulting right now and you're selling books right now, you've got a really good argument to do a pre-development launch beta. And that means you develop the first 2 to 3 chapters of curriculum, and then you go live, and then you retroactively develop the rest as you go along. And it gives you a chance to test the market. You have to have a good landing page up. You could do all of this within like 2-3 days.
Yep.
So what were your thoughts on your first pre-development launch? Like, how did you feel about getting into that process the first time?
Well, I liked it. I did building $1 million book business like that, where I got paid to do the course, which was really fun. And so
pay to build.
Right. Well, it was write the outline for the course, which meant then write the sales copy or the landing page, and then send out an email and see if anybody bought it. And so I like the idea all the way around of involving people in a beta team. So giving them the course for less than what it will be when it's rolled out officially, in exchange for the opportunity to provide feedback. And so we created the outline and the landing page. And this was in fall of 2019 that I was doing this. So I just thought, this is crazy. I've not ever done this in this particular way. But the goal was to have the course be a $2,000 course, and building $1 million book business is specifically around turning your book into multiple income streams. So I wrote the syllabus for the course by saying, here are the income streams that I've created. And my intention was, and what I did was include everything about each income stream that I had learned. So my process, how I would sell it, downloadables, companion product, companion information. So like if there was a manual I provided to a client, or if there was an agreement that was there, a legal agreement that I needed, all of that went into the course. And so because there was, it's a bit of blue ocean, a lot of people talk about publishing courses or publishing books, but they don't talk about monetizing them in multiple income streams. There was a lot of blue ocean there. When I put that out, immediately there was a response. Mm-hmm. And so then it was like, oh, I guess we're doing the course. Good thing the time was reserved on the calendar. And then I also like the aspect of rolling out pieces of it so that people could only get to the next module if they completed the previous module. So it was on a, what do you call that?
Drip schedule.
Yeah. So that every week there were 2 new lessons, 2 new income streams. So they had to review all those materials in order to get to and provide feedback in order to get to the next ones.
Right. So you were releasing two bits every week. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were real time developing the course, even as it was being dripped out to people and sold. We had a number. I think it's important that you say, if I make X amount of money, so if we sold 15 courses for $1,000 each, if we made $15,000, that's worth the time to create the course. If we're never paid ever again, which that course has made multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars at this point, but if I hadn't made another dime on it, it was worth it to put the course together. So I think it's important for you to say, if I sell 10 courses or I make X amount of dollars in the beta, then it's worth it for me to move forward. And if not, maybe there's not as much interest. Maybe I should take a different angle. Now, again, I'm not you, so I want to make sure that is correct.
Yeah. So the decision about whether to move forward, depending on like a certain number of enrollments, is very important. And to your point, Honorée, like if you're looking at because it's an opportunity cost, right? If you're spending time building material, you're not spending time doing something else for your business.
Correct.
And you want to serve the people that enrolled. So here's kind of my 2 cents on that number. So a little earlier in the conversation, I had mentioned if you're already selling enough books, if there's already a strong enough demand signal for your course, those types of things, that gives you more confidence in developing and selling the course. I always recommend beta testing your course at a significant discount from what your finished product is going to be, so that you can see if people are interested at that low price point, and it incentivizes them to get in when they have to wait for their curriculum. It's a really easy way to kind of eliminate the money as a barrier to entry, so that you're not sitting there going, maybe people aren't signing up because it's too expensive. Oh no, you've discounted it. Like I discount up to 50% on my betas. Not saying you have to do that.
I was going to ask you, that's my number. That's what I was recommended to
That's
do.
what I do. Yep. Okay. I do that. I do a 50% beta price. So if I'm going to price the course at $1,000 down the road, I'll beta test it at 500. I let everyone know that, so that they're incentivized to get it now rather than wait.
It's on the landing page. It's on the landing page. Like, and I also took away the refund on the beta.
Yeah. No refund. Yep.
No refund on the beta. If you're in, if you're in, make a commitment and be in. I'm going to upgrade it. I'm going to do a free live Q&A, which that's an additional fee to get the Q&As, like all that kind of stuff. Right. But it's like, you're going to have the opportunity to interact with me in ways that future students at double the price are not going to have.
Right.
And that seems to work really well.
Yes,
because then it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer for this is something I want, and I can get it by learning from someone who's done it. Sold. Buy now.
Yeah. Now, if you don't want to charge a separate price for the live Q&As, you can roll them all into one price, but cap the live Q&A to the length of the drip. Right. So instead of having lifetime access to live Q&A, they have access during the beta, and then it's done. Right. Like once the beta is done, live access is done. Thank you for being in the beta project. If you want to continue, here's a sweet discount that can get you a discount on the live Q&A lifetime. Give them a little incentive if they want to stick around, or they can just say, yeah, I'm good. I got my fill. I'm good to go. Right. So they'll still have lifetime access to the material, just not the live Q&As at that point. So one of the other things about the beta that's sweet when it comes to figuring out that number is if you can, this is a very subjective answer. People hate this, but it's true. You and I have talked about like waking up one day, like hating your business because you built the wrong business for yourself, right? Like I built this thing just because I could, not because it's what I really wanted. Like I saw that it was possible. I thought about money. I didn't think about my lifestyle and all those things. And now I've got this thing, right? Well, it's the same thing with a beta. If you're going to commit to a 2-month beta period or a 1-month beta period, you want to be confident when you wake up every morning of that beta and you're grinding through creating that curriculum and you're meeting for the live Q&As and all the things that come along with developing the course, that the number of people you let in the door, you're cool with that. So if you're like, if one person signs up, I'm going to move forward, you cannot complain when one person signs up and you move forward.
And only one person signs up.
Yeah, and only one person. That's it.
Yes.
So my handshake with myself is, where am I going to be happy, right? What's the number of people that it takes for me to be happy financially, and people in the program, like number of people to interact with in the program, to make this worth my while. Now, I will trade. This is just me. This isn't my advice to everybody. I will trade some of the financial benefits for the right number of people in the group and my own kind of feeling about how the group is kicking off and all that kind of stuff. It's like you have to figure that out for yourself. Yeah. However, here's a little
fine print below.
Yeah, see the fine print below. When you're in this kind of situation, that you have to communicate all of this stuff very clearly up front. That like, if you're going to draw that line in the sand and say there have to be 5 people enrolled, then you need to put a policy on your landing page that says the class will go live when I have reached X number of enrollments. Yeah. And if I don't get enough people to enroll, I'll refund you your money. And, so let's say 3 people sign up and their line in the sand was 5. At that point, you have a decision to make. Should I just proceed, or should I just go ahead and refund the money? So don't just go burning all the money that came in the door over that month or 2 while you were promoting your beta, and then have to turn around and refund those people that money.
Hang on to that cash money, kids.
Yeah, you're like, it's $3,000. What am I going to do? Well, you kind of got yourself in this pinch because you weren't fully committed, right? Yeah. You have to keep that in mind as you're doing your beta. So just be careful, because sometimes people get into the beta because they weren't confident about money, because they're not confident about what's in the bank account. And they kind of say, all right. And then they make a bad decision. Like, okay, I did get 3,000 or I did get X amount of money. I don't want to get that back. So I'm just going to go ahead and move forward. And they haven't done the good business case to say this is the right thing to build. They get poor participation in the beta. They're waking up upset about it. Well, hey, look, you obligated because you committed to moving forward. Once you commit to moving forward, move forward and don't think twice about it. Yep. Just rock and roll. So anyway, anyone else have any questions out there?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking is, do we have questions on this? Is this helpful information?
Yeah, it's fun. The beta thing gets people nervous, but to me, it's like such a good investment in like, just, I get to, it also causes you to have to commit, which is oftentimes the issue.
And which is why when we talk about the three-legged stool, we say, write the outline, write the landing page for the course, and put it up for sale while you get busy writing your book. If you have something else to do, you're letting people have the time to discover it and enroll in it. And that forces you to do it. But meanwhile, you're writing the book that's going to go along with it. And then you're going to produce the course. And then you're going to finish the book. And then you're going to finish the workbook. And before too much time passes, you're going to have a course that is live and making you money, even while you're waiting for your book to go live. And then you will have the book and the companion guide, planner, workbook, journal, whatever that looks like, and the course. And they'll all be working together, and you'll have those assets, and they're perennial. They should be perennial sellers. They should be earning you money, just like the Prosperity for Writers course and the STMA courses that I have that I did years and years ago, right? 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. And then I started the publishing PhD course in 2018, and that is still going.
Yep.
And that whole suite of courses. If I knew then what I know now, Lucas.
And wasn't it worth it?
Oh, it was 100% worth it. I just wish I'd been a little more strategic about it. I wish I'd studied strategery.
My strategery studies.
Well,
I mean, the cool thing about that example, though, is that you are in a position to pivot later, right? So you've been able to pivot on those products now, and you're not pressured to try and reproduce all that stuff right now, and it's still selling and it's still working and it's still serving people and people are still happy. So it's like, all right, well, I can prioritize that with the rest of my product development whenever it's most appropriate. And you don't have to like beat yourself up about it because it's working, right? And it has worked.
No, for sure. Yep. I'm still getting students. And that's the best part, is when you think about how you're spending your time, because you're spending it, right? It's not refundable. When you think about how you're spending your time, I think spending time creating assets, courses, and books, it's very good time well spent, because you're going to spend a lot of time and not see any money. Yeah. But then once it's out there, you might have to do some maintenance on it, update it, expand it, those sorts of things. But it is revenue generating. I mean, I sell the Successful Single Mom book series and the SMTP, the Single Mom Transformation Program. And I haven't written a book in that series for 10 years.
Wow.
10 years. It's been 10 years. 2009 was when I published the first book. And so when you think about it, it's like, wow, it's a lot of time. Do I have the time to do it? It's like, you're going to spend some time on Facebook. You're going to spend some time, Netflix watching, and I do all those things, right? I also do those things, but I continuously create assets. I know that they will continue to make an impact and an income.
Right. Yeah, it's absolutely true, right? And we have discussed before the importance of like dedicating yourself to talking about your products. Don't give up on, the idea to build that book or build that course just because you're not actively building an audience or communicating with people regularly about these things. Sometimes it's those types of behaviors that are to blame. I mean, almost every time I've been concerned that I'm not doing enough in my business, it's not whether I'm building enough or it's always whether I'm talking about my stuff enough in the right way with the right people, right? So in a way that serves them, helps them. It's not about being salesy. It's just about educating people and keeping people informed. And oh, by the way, you know, this is what I do. So they naturally gravitate toward your resources and your assets. But if I'm not talking about them, the first place I point my finger when I'm not moving the needle is like right here. It's like, I really wanted 2 books. Why don't you have 2 books? I only wrote 1, right? It's like, whose fault is that? Like last year I had a goal, remember? 3 books. I want to put out 3 books. I didn't put out 3 books. Whose fault is that? This guy's, right?
That's right. You're about to put out 1 excellent book. And once you do it, as you know, you get the fever.
Oh my gosh.
You get the fever and then you want to write books. And then you're John Stonge, who's writing 12 books this year. So like basically, and then another live, we're going to be talking about another John Stonge book, which I just think is fantastic, right? He got the fever. He got the, you know, the creative juices flowing. And now he's just creating all that content. And that stuff will live on forever.
Yes. And I will drop links to John's stuff in the show notes.
Awesome.
Particularly on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Do you mind if I promote one thing before we leave? It's not the book.
Obviously, you can promote
whatever
you want. I don't mind anything.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. Okay, what's the breaking news?
The Empire Builders Masterclass is launching a podcast.
What? Oh, wait. I knew that. I thought I was supposed to act surprised at the breaking news, but as it turns out, I actually knew this. Yes.
So, you know, if you guys have been tuning into the live shows and you've been interacting with us, you might be cameoed, you know, but we're going to start producing the podcast episodes associated with a lot of our videos and more content that's not found in our live streams, not found in our YouTube channel. So if you guys are really interested in what we're producing here at Empire Builders Masterclass, then, and if you're like a big fan of podcasts like we are, then keep your eyes peeled because it's happening. It's there. It exists now. We're on Anchor and our tag is EBMC. So if you're looking for us, you can go to anchor.fm/EBMC and you'll find it. And I'll also put a link to that in the show notes and you'll be hearing us talk about that more next week.
Oh, Renee is excited because she can't get enough of me. This is my best friend.
Now I refuse to call her Renee, by the way.
Great.
Her name is Rambo as far as I'm concerned.
Rambo. Yes. Well, Rambo is very sweet and cannot get enough of me, which I feel the same about her. I want to read her book. I want to listen to her podcast.
Yes.
I want to take her course. I'm just saying, just in case you're listening, Renee, I love you. Now go write your book. Okay.
Rambo works. She said, that's it. We've received authorization to proceed with Rambo.
Authorization to proceed. Yes. Yeah, I like it.
Well, Honorée, thank you so much for spending time today, hanging out, doing all the things, sharing your wisdom.
Thank you. Thank you for setting this all up. So she said, I heard you. Thank you for setting it all up so that we can chat with our friends that tune in, which is really fun. Our friends and family, literally.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we'll be back at our normal time next week, right? So,
yes, we will. Yes.
Back at the noon hour here on the East Coast, adjust accordingly from there. And if you're not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, now I can say to our podcast, then go check those things out. Hit the like buttons, hit the subscribe buttons, do all the things, and check us out here in the live if you guys have an opportunity every week, Thursdays at noon Eastern. Thank you so much, Honorée.
Thank you, sir.
We'll see you guys next week.
See you next week.